Welcome to 2020's Riverboating for Beret, a bourbon excursion. I'm Randy Homelli. I am one of the co-chairs for the event and also a local board member of the Green Beret Foundation Cincinnati chapter. I want to welcome you to a very unique experience. We wish everybody was here rolling down the Ohio River, enjoying B&B Riverboats, Belle of Cincinnati, and the beautiful views of Cincinnati while we're supporting the Green Beret Foundation. Unfortunately, this year is going to be a little bit different. Based on recent events with COVID-19 and restrictions on people gathering of more than 10 people, we had to do this virtually. Now, we've never done this before. We're not actors, we're not experts, but we do have a passion for the Green Berets and the Green Beret Foundation, and we felt it was very important to continue the mission and the event. And we think we got a great night planned ahead, and it's going to be a very fun night for everyone. So first, I want to thank our sponsors. We have multiple sponsors, but there's two sponsors in particular that are very important to us. Watson's is the title sponsor, and later on we're going to talk with you about an opportunity to make a donation and receive from Pension Corporation of America a private barrel pick from Eagle Rare. So thanks to our sponsors, tonight we're going to be able to sit back, enjoy a beverage as we focus on the mission of the Green Beret Foundation and its support of the Green Beret community. I'm deeply passionate about this cause because I know many Green Berets. They're referred to as the quiet professionals. And as somebody who didn't serve, I feel like this is the least I can do to be a voice. So what we want to do is we want to share tonight what the Green Beret Foundation is all about, why we're passionate about it, and also we want to talk about bourbon. There's a lot of Green Berets that like bourbon. So we're going to have an experience that you've never seen before. We're going to be at Rich's Proper with his very own Bill Whitlow. He's an award-winning mixologist, and he's going to be making a unique cocktail that had you been at the event tonight live, we would have had. And we're looking forward to next year having him make this cocktail for us. So tonight, when we share that Eagle Rare and we make that cocktail, you'll be able to make it at home because he's going to show you just how to do it. In addition to that, we're also going to have the gift of spending some time with Harlan Wheatley. Harlan is a master distiller with Buffalo Trace Sazerac, and also Chris Comstock. Chris is one of the brand marketing managers, and he brings a unique perspective to the bourbon market. And as a sponsor, as our bourbon sponsor from Buffalo Trace Sazerac for the Green Beret Foundation's Riverboating for Berets, we're excited to be partners with them. So sit back, enjoy some time with your friends, sip a bourbon, and we look forward to spending some time with you this evening. So now I want to introduce you guys two of my really good friends. These are local Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky's own retired Green Berets.
Hi, I'm Stephen Schnell. I'm a retired Green Beret, Special Forces officer. I retired about 5 or 6 years ago, and I live here in the local Cincinnati area.
Hi, I'm Nick Brown. I'm a retired Green Beret. I live here in the local Cincinnati area as well. I retired in 2016.
So all three of us are very passionately involved in the Green Beret Foundation, along with several board members and even employees that work in this area. And I think it's important for those of you that are with us tonight to understand those that serve, why they're so passionate about standing up for their brothers and being there in a supportive nature. So I'm going to ask them to share their thoughts.
Well, Riverboating for Berets is just one of several Cincinnati Green Beret Classic events that we host and have each year. So the Cincinnati chapter of the Green Beret Foundation was started by Fran and Jim Wessling. And Fran and Jim are parents of my former 10th group brother, Darren Baldwin. Darren was injured in Iraq several years ago and still deals with the effects of those injuries with the help and the undying support of his wife, Bianca. So Fran and Jim's passion for the Green Beret Foundation and the cause has motivated me and many, many other people in the Cincinnati area to come together and to support all of the events that we put together each year in support of the Green Beret Foundation. These events support our fallen brothers, honor our fallen brothers, support our active duty Green Berets that are serving right now, every day, every night, and they also help retired and former Special Forces Green Berets who need help transition or anything else they need through the Green Beret Foundation.
Now I'd like to ask for Nick Brown to share his thoughts on why he's so passionate about the cause as well.
So Stephen and I are also members of the board here in Cincinnati. And when I moved back to Ohio after my stint in active duty, I was in 7th Special Forces Group, moved back to Ohio and randomly found out about a golf tournament. And little did I know that the Westlings had mobilized an entire army of volunteers here in the tri-state area. And just so many generous businesses and individual donors have contributed almost or over $1.3 million in just 5 years. So the amount of support, not only from this area, has been overwhelming, but also the passion that is displayed on a daily basis from Fran and her team, including Stephanie Mead, our admin as well. But that in and of itself just made me want to contribute as much as I possibly can, and not only contribute here in the local area to raise money, but relay my own story, so to speak, to fellow Green Berets who may or may not be going through issues or need support in the time being, which is why I also chose to become an ambassador for the national chapter. And that has been just an experience that has been almost as rewarding as serving as a Green Beret.
So as we hear these stories and why everybody's so passionate about this program, we couldn't do this without the funds of the local community. And those dollars that are generated aren't just a check, it's also people that are having their companies have volunteers from their organization. They're paying their employees to come volunteer and help out. So as you hear their passion, these gentlemen understand that it takes a village. This community has backed up the Green Beret Foundation in the last 5 years to the tune of $1.3 million. It's organizations like Watson's and Pension Corporation of America who have been involved so heavily with not just dollars, but with passion and hours of volunteer work. It's organizations like BB Riverboat. Ben Bernstein is a local member of this community who has gotten passionately involved with Green Beret Foundation, and this is where we're filming today, and we are looking forward to seeing you next year. But first, we want to hear from Eric and from Tom about their role as supporters of Green Beret Foundation.
My name is Eric Muller, and I've been involved with the Cincinnati chapter of the Green Beret Foundation for several years now, both as a board member for a couple of years and as well as a sponsor for several of the events. I think the Green Beret Foundation, gives us a platform both personally and professionally, and it allows us to give back to the men that are all over the world fighting for our liberties and our freedoms, and I feel very passionate about our obligation to support those men. I don't think the average U.S. citizen realizes there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of men all over, in hundreds of countries realistically, on missions protecting us, helping other people protect their freedoms, but most importantly protecting our American freedoms and our liberties, and they're quiet. They're not out there with their chest out, and they're not getting all the press in the world, and we need to do our part to support them and their families. They're away from their families for long periods of time, again and again and again, and the war that we're fighting today is a very different war. And I think that's again, I feel very passionate about our obligation to support them and their families, whether it's locally here, and I've met just tremendous active and non-active Green Berets locally, or on a national level. We really enjoy, at Watson's, being able to be a sponsor here with the Bourbon and the B&B Riverboat Bourbon for Beret cruise, because I think it's a wonderful event. You get a bunch of Green Berets together, you get a bunch of local people together from the tri-state community, and bourbon's such a hot commodity right now that I think it makes it a very enjoyable night, and they do a wonderful job here at B&B, so we're happy to be involved.
Hello, my name is Tom Seitz. I'm the CEO of Pension Corporation of America. We've been involved with the Green Beret Foundation for 5-6 years and have been the presenting sponsor here at the Bourbon Excursion since it began. This year we're co-presenting sponsor with our friends from Watson's. So the question is, why are we involved? And the very first Green Beret event I went to, it touched my heart. Retired Major Darren Baldwin was at that event. He was injured severely over in Iraq, the Iraq War. His wife was there, and I saw the effects that this had on his family, on his wife, on his parents, and it touched my heart. And so at that moment, I decided it was something we wanted to be involved in. As they say, freedom's not free, and the sacrifice that these proud Americans have made is why we are involved in the Green Beret Foundation and to help these folks and their families. I'm hoping you'll support it as well. So I know this is different this year, and it would have been great for us to all to be together on B&B Riverboats, and we're looking forward to you joining us next year live and in person. Thank you.
All right, big thanks to Tom and Eric. We really appreciate all the support they give us. We cannot do it without folks like them. Through my experience as an ambassador to the Green Beret Foundation, I've had the pleasure of working with our executive director on numerous occasions. Now it's my pleasure to introduce Brent Cooper, my friend and former Green Beret brother.
Thanks, Brent. Thank you so much for the passion that you have presented to the Green Beret Foundation and just your short time with us, and we're excited about the future. I know us personally, as a group here in Cincinnati, this helps everyone out here in the market understand why we are so passionate about this. And then the other part of it is, it's called Riverboating for Berets, a bourbon excursion. So now we can talk about some bourbon. One of our great sponsors has been Buffalo Trace Sazerac. They started with riverboating from berets when it was just an idea and a concept, and we could not be where we're at today without their support. We have a distinct pleasure tonight of hearing from both Harlan Wheatley and Chris Comstock, and they're going to share a little bit about their experience in bourbon and share about the history a little bit within the support of armed services. So sit back, enjoy it, grab a sip, Buffalo Trace, and we will talk to everybody after this.
Hi, my name is Chris Comstock here at Buffalo Trace Distillery. Welcome to the world's most award-winning distillery. We've got a long, rich history of making bourbon whiskey here in Franklin County, Kentucky. It was on these grounds here over 200 years ago when early American pioneers came through the Appalachian Mountains and started settling the West. And these explorers, they followed the buffalo herds, and these buffalo herds would carve a pathway through the wilderness. And they led two early American pioneers to the site. And these pioneers, Willis and Hancock Lee, found the intersection of the Kentucky River, which is right over there, where our distillery is today, and we've been making whiskey here at Buffalo Trace ever since. So, a bit about our history. In 1773 is when the site was settled, and later in the mid-1800s, a man named E.H. Taylor bought the distillery and modernized the distillery into what was the grandest distillery in America. He eventually sold the distillery to a man named George T. Stagg. And Stagg and E.H. Taylor were very different men, and E.H. Taylor continued to run the distillery, but Stagg was a gruff businessman who liked things his way. So ultimately, E.H. Taylor left, and Stagg renamed the distillery the George T. Stagg Distillery. And Stagg was the one who hired Albert Blanton, which you might be familiar with, Blanton's single barrel bourbon, which was commercialized by someone that Albert Blanton hired, a man named Elmer T. Lee. Elmer and I worked together for about 10 years until he passed, and he told me a lot of great stories about this distillery. And we have a bourbon named after Elmer in tribute to him as well. So we've had a lot to persevere over the last 2 centuries. Floods and fires and World War I and World War II. We even made bourbon during Prohibition. While other distilleries were shut down, we had a special license to make medicinal whiskey. And so if you were sick in Kentucky, you could get a doctor's prescription for 1 pint of our bourbon every 10 days. I think everyone in Kentucky was sick because we got records that show we were selling 1 million pints every month. So Prohibition was a good time for us. So were the 50s and 60s and 70s. In the 80s and 90s, bourbon became a little bit less popular, and this distillery went from having 1,000 employees, a very hustling, bustling whiskey maker, to, in the 90s, when Harlan Wheatley joined, we were down to 50 employees. But now we're on our way back. We've got 500 employees now, making what some think are the best bourbons around. We've been named best distillery in the world a few times, and we've won more awards than any distillery in the world. Brands like Buffalo Trace, our flagship brand, has won double gold medals. Brands like George T. Stagg, Pappy Van Winkle, Sazerac Rye, and Weller. We've got a number of different recipes here at Buffalo Trace so that we can create this variety of flavor and variety of brands. So our wheated recipe bourbons age up to become brands like Weller and Pappy Van Winkle, and it's a smoother flavor, and a lot of people love that mild, smooth, approachable taste. But we also have straight rye whiskeys that are spicier, like Sazerac Rye and Sazerac 18-year-old, which is hard to find, but it's amazing. Our antique collection as a whole is some of our best bourbon and whiskey, and many of them have been named best bourbons in the world. So everything from Eagle Rare to Blanton's and Elmer T. Lee, Buffalo Trace, Stagg and Weller are brands that we're really proud of, and hopefully everyone at some point in their lives get a chance to taste these whiskeys. Right now, demand for our brands is outpacing our supply, so we need to make more, and we are going to expand the distillery over the next few years, spend a lot of money to double our capacity so we can fill more barrels, so that in the future there'll be more bottles of Pappy and Weller and E.H. Taylor and Buffalo Trace and Elmer and so on and so on. This year we're really pleased to be able to offer a barrel of Eagle Rare to the Green Beret Foundation. The folks came to Buffalo Trace and spent some time with Freddie and some folks here at the distillery and tasted a number of different barrels, and hopefully you'll be able to enjoy this special single barrel of Eagle Rare that was picked by the Green Beret Foundation. We're happy to help doing that. We do as much as we can for charities and deserving causes, because we know it's a people business, and we want to do as much as we can to not only make hopefully some of the best bourbons around, but for people to enjoy them and for them to do good. So if you ever have a chance to come visit Buffalo Trace one of these days, come and take a tour, spend some time, see our history, and learn about our bourbon.
My name is Harlan Wheatley. I'm the master distiller here at Buffalo Trace Distillery. And what a great partnership we have with the Green Beret Foundation. And we hope to have it for many years to come. We're doing a lot of work these days to expand our operation and continue to grow and make more whiskey. And we're very grateful we're able to do these types of things. So we're making more bourbon in order to be able to support things like this, and we're focused on, doubling production, building a new still house, building another dry house, adding warehouses. We're spending about $120 million over the next couple of years expanding the distillery just so we can continue to, have a good supply of bourbon. We hope that all of our efforts today are making our predecessors proud. Elmer T. Lee is a guy that worked here 50 plus years. He was our master distiller, did a lot of work for us and continued to really father, a lot of the premium bourbons that we know today. And he was a bombardier in World War II. And because of him, we've done a lot of donations for the VFW and worked through him on that. And the Green Beret Foundation is just another example of that. So we're very thankful to be able to do that.
Wow, what a unique perspective hearing from both Harlan and Chris. Thank you very much for your support and for sharing your time with us so we can make this Riverboating for Berets event a great event. We are very fortunate here in Cincinnati to have some of the finest bourbon mixologists in the world. Northern Kentucky's own Bill Whitlow owns Rich's Proper in Covington, Kentucky. And there is nobody that makes a cocktail like Bill. So we put him to the challenge to give him a bottle of last year's Eagle Rare's commemorative barrel pick that we had to make us a special cocktail. It's called the Yarborough.
The Yarborough drink that Randy's talking about is actually named after William Yarborough, former General William Yarborough, one of the founders of Special Forces, one of the original Green Berets. But in honor of General Yarborough, each Special Forces candidate that successfully completes the course was given a Yarborough knife made by Chris Reeve.
Randy, I don't know if you know this, but I passed, and I have one too.
All right, we are excited to be down here at Rich's Proper. I'm here with Bill Whitlow. Him and his beautiful wife Morgan are the owners of Rich's Proper right here in Madison Avenue in downtown Covington. If we were to have the riverboating event this year and it wasn't virtual, you would have had the distinct pleasure of trying this cocktail. This was going to be part of the cocktail competition. So what we're going to do is Bill's going to give us a tutorial on how to make this cocktail, and I challenge anybody to try and make it at home. Bill's an award-winning mixologist, and we're excited to have this opportunity. So, Bill, I'll let you make us a cocktail.
Who's ready? So, got the cocktail called the Yarborough here for you. So, this cocktail, basically what I'm trying to do is do a couple things we probably would have been doing on the riverboat. Drinking some Kentucky bourbon, smoking some good cigars. This cocktail has 5 ingredients plus smoke. We're going to be using some Eagle Rare, some Benedictine, which is like an herbal, earthy kind of orange liqueur. You can do this at home with maple syrup. I take a maple syrup and I infuse it with clove, cardamom, and vanilla, and then I smoke it. 2 different bitters. Havana and Hyde from 1821 down in Atlanta, Georgia. It's a rum barrel aged tobacco and leather bitters, as well as Sycophant. It's an orange and fig bitters. He's out of West Virginia. A guy named Craig makes all those bitters. All woman-owned, female-owned company out of 1821. They do some great stuff too. So, but yeah, we'll get started. So, we got 2 ounces of bourbon in each one. I've never been accused of making a weak drink.
I can vouch for that.
Been doing this a long time, and I don't think that's ever happened. We got half an ounce of the Benedictine. And then we're going to go with 3 dashes each on the bitters. So you're using different things to kind of complement each other. You know, bourbon is nice and bold, but it's also sweet. We're also using some sweetness and some citrus of the Benedictine. Well, now these bitters are going to balance that back out. You know, other drinks you might use other citruses. We're doing a stirred cocktail, so I'm not going to use any juices, but this orange and fig bitters is going to add a little citrus in there, giving it a tartness to balance out even some of that bitterness and sweetness. Typically in cocktails, you're looking for one of 2 things: to be all out on one flavor to where you're really trying to highlight something, or you're looking for balance. I personally usually try to find balance in my cocktails. So we're gonna use a bar spoon.
You make these here at Rich's.
Yes. Spoon each on that maple syrup. Here. All right. We're gonna give these a nice little stir. We don't have any juice in here, so all these have a very similar kind of chemical component, like of the viscosity. So we don't have to shake it. We just want to give it a nice stir, a nice chill. Stirring also gives you less dilution. We're only going to do about 17 and 19% dilution this way. All right, now comes the fun part. We're going to smoke these out.
Now you can get these smokers at home. What kind of wood or pellets?
So this one I'm using applewood. I keep applewood, or sorry, this is cherry wood. I keep applewood and cherry wood behind the bar though.
Okay.
These smokers you can get a more residential. This is more of a commercial version. It's a little more. We started off with a residential version and it burned out real quick because we use it a lot. So you want to get a nice thick smoke in there where you can barely see through it. And what I teach my bartenders, don't shake it. There's 3 ways to kind of smoke a cocktail in my opinion. You can smoke the glass, giving it like a light smoke. I like to roll it around. That's going to get you about a medium smoke. Okay. If you shake it, that's going to be a really heavily smoked. Okay. I actually do that when I'm doing like big events. I will shake to like go ahead and infuse a lot of smoke in. That way I can just dilute it back out at the event. It's always about the presentation.
That is absolutely beautiful. Just beautiful.
Let the smoke roll right off that glass. And one last little bit of citrus.
Those oils in there to kind of.
Exactly. You always want to squeeze those oils outwards.
Perfect.
And there we have the Arbor.
So now we're going to ask Mr. Steven Schnell, retired SF Green Beret himself. Good luck trying to make this cocktail at home. So if you can't, come on down to Rich's Proper. Bill Whitlow will make you this cocktail personally out here in Madison and Covington, Kentucky. Thank you very much, Bill. And now as we come to the end of our program, this is an opportunity for you to become a member of the Green Beret Foundation's community. We're asking for your support, and we have a number of great opportunities for you. Pension Corporation of America, as we mentioned, is a proud sponsor of our private barrel picks. We have 2 offerings this year that we know will be a great delight for your bourbon collection. With a $100 pledge, Pension Corporation of America is going to provide you with an amazing bourbon, a private barrel pick of Eagle Rare 10-year. It was picked by Green Berets and myself, and I know it'll be a great collection item for your bourbon collection. And for a $50 donation, you'll be provided with Northern Kentucky's own New Riff Distillery single barrel. In addition, this was picked by Green Berets and myself, so you know it's going to be good. Both opportunities are going to be very limited. These are private barrel picks, and the first 120 to make a $100 donation will be awarded with a Eagle Rare, and the first 100 will be provided with a New Riff. Again, these were barrel picks from Green Berets, and we know they'll be a great addition to your bourbon collection while you're supporting the Green Beret Foundation and the mission that we are so passionate about here in Cincinnati. As we are entering into the final stages of the event and how you can support the Green Beret Foundation, we'd ask you to take the time and register for our mobile bidding service, Qtego. The information's on the screen. We'll give you a moment to register.
So if bourbon's not your flavor and you still would like to participate and give a donation to the Green Beret Foundation, we ask you to do so. Same thing, you just go to the Qtego mobile app and click donate, and whatever you can provide will be very much appreciated by all of us.
Thanks for joining us tonight. We appreciate your time and we really appreciate your support.
So as we wrap up this evening, we want to thank all of you for joining us. We want to thank all of you for the support, and we look forward to seeing you in May 2021 as we roll forward with riverboating for berets on the Ohio River. And we know we have supporters far beyond the reaches of the Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky region. So for those of you around the world that want to follow us on Facebook at Supporters of Cincinnati Green Beret Foundation, and also you can follow us at greenberetfoundation.org. So as we wrap up our first and only virtual riverboating for berets, I want to thank Will Bernal, retired SF Green Beret, and Team House Studios for putting on this production. I also want to thank Stephen, and I want to thank Nick, along with our other guests tonight. We could not have been more happy with the support you've provided with us for over the last 5 years. And we cheers and thank each and every one of you. Cheers.